You know, as we progress through the battle here, you wrote about it obviously here in the book, and I think this description here is worth reading. So I'm gonna go. You're out on patrol. You're trying to get back to friendly lines. Daylight's coming, and here we go. I brought up the rear when we took off in a low-moving dog trot because light's coming, so you're trying to make some movement here.
Yeah.
We had not gone far when, from within 5 yards of my 5 o'clock position, I heard the bolt action on a machine gun declaring the operator had braced it for firing. I'd heard this harbinger of death before. It stood as one of the hard lessons I'd learned in the jungles during the Solomon Islands campaigns. I recognized this telling sound of a Nambu, a Japanese light machine gun. This deadly weapon could spit out a clip of 20 cartridges in less than 2 heartbeats. Damn, I hated that nasty little 25 caliber weapon. At that first metallic sound, I shouted, "Hit the deck!" I landed on the ground at the same instant that a short burst of gunfire ripped through the air just inches above my head. I lay so flat on the deck that I could have crawled under a snake's belly. For Joe, the guy in front of me, luck had played out. He had taken one or more slugs in the back. The other man ran helter-skelter toward our lines. His headlong dash grabbed the attention of the Nambu, and it continued to spit short bursts at this hustling Marine. While this happened, the adrenaline and sense of reasoning within me worked in tandem, each feeding off each other. My situation was critical. I lay in the Jap's backyard, my position exposed with only my pistol to defend myself. I took a quick peek at the inner body 7 or 8 yards ahead of me. Seeing no movement, I reckoned Joe had bought the farm. He carried an M1 rifle. To survive this untenable fix, I needed that rifle and a position of concealment. I knew that the Nambu's clip held 20 cartridges, and the gunner fired in short bursts of 3 to 4 bullets. I figured he had only a burst or 2 left. He had 1. When the clip played out, it ejected. The sharp, tinny sound signaled me to move, and move I did. I came out of that prone position like a bolt of lightning. Man, in that span of 8 yards, I could have beaten Jesse Owens. My plan was simple. I'd race by, pick up on a dead run, and try and make it to the line of boulders about 20 yards beyond. Damn. On about the third step, I saw Joe move slightly. The plan had changed. I opted to take him instead. When I got there, I grabbed the back of his collar. Utter panic poured raw adrenaline into my engines. I could never have dragged him that far or fast otherwise. The rocks as a safe haven no longer stood as an option. We couldn't make it that far out. Out of gut-wrenching terror, I reacted on impulse, not rooted in thought or reasoning. With Joe now in tow, we moved into a slight depression in the volcanic ash. No more than a shallow dip, it had to do duty as shelter for the time being. What a poor place to defend, and it offered very little in way of protection, but nothing else showed any more promise. By instinct, I hit the deck. My timing proved perfect. The rattling peal of gunfire passed within inches of our heads. Well, I figured we were safe for the time being. Then problems began to escalate faster than I could resolve them. So this is a bad situation you're in right now. Man. And then you look down and you see there's a thermite grenade that he's got on his gear, that Joe has on his gear, and it looks like it's been shot or it's been hit with a glancing bullet, and it looks like that thing could go off at any time as well. Not only that, you got the Nambu being reloaded. So from there, I think you stick Joe with some morphine, and you kind of hold station. How long were you in that little depression in volcanic ash waiting?
Well, we estimated it was about 6.5 hours that we were in that little deflation in the volcanic ash. And it was kind of a slope and then a depression, and that the bullets would hit at that above us, you know. That was as low as you could get, you know, and we were safe at that as long as we stayed down.
And on top of all that, you start receiving friendly fire from mortars. Mortars start going off.
Oh, yeah, that was just normal, you know. They were throwing a lot of mortar shells in there, and the ships were firing the heavy stuff, but not right in that area where we were.
Man.
And
what do you think, what prevented the Japanese from maneuvering on you? Were you just holding that position to the best of your ability, throwing grenades and whatnot?
yeah, that's the only thing we could do. I couldn't move, so I just had to hope that they didn't come. And then when they gave out hope, well, I was prepared. I had the pistol. I was going to make sure that we wasn't taken prisoner, you know, because at Villa La Vella, we were on a patrol, and a platoon of us, and we met some Japs, and one guy was hurt, and we didn't know he was hurt, and we fell back a little bit, and then we realized that this guy, his name was Joe something, I can't think of his last name now, and the Japs had captured him, and we dug in for the night, and they began to torture him, and he would, you know, screaming and everything, and our officers said, "Don't move, we can't help him. They're just trying to get you in position. Don't move, and everything." We sit there and listen to him into the night. And in the morning, when it got light, you know, we went in after him. And he was tied to the base of a tree with his penis cut off, and it was in his mouth. And they'd taken strips of skin and pulled it off that long. I just really tortured him, something terrible. And we found out that they were Royal Manchurian Marines. You know, the Japanese in Manchuria had a colony up there, and they were bigger than the regular Japanese. They might have been Chinese, but they were big guys, and we got back at them. There were about 10 of them, I guess, in that group, and we finally caught up with them. But that poor guy suffered, and it was hard not to jump up and go, but that's what they wanted us to do, you know, to come out of those holes. Because once we got in a foxhole at night, we were not supposed to move for any reason. If you had to use the toilet, well, you dug a hole in your hole, and those holes in the jungles water would seep in them overnight, and you're constantly using your tin cup to take water out, throw it out. Fighting in the jungle was terrible. It was really terrible. You know, the conditions were bad. The mosquitoes were bad. Just jungle fighting. I hated that. And you didn't get that at Iwo Jima, you know. I don't remember seeing a mosquito or having a mosquito bite in at Iwo Jima.
And with that in your mind, there's no way that you were going to get captured. You were going to fight till you died.
I wasn't going to be captured. I was ready to take Joe out and myself, because I didn't want him to suffer like that either. And of course, I didn't tell him that I was going to shoot him, but I was ready to do it.